Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today it's going to be a game between Alone and Pin, here on some map I can't translate, 2.0. Top left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player. His name is Alone. He's got a Liquidpedia page. Not a very accomplished player, but he's professional, so I figured I would cast this. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the round Terran player known as Pin. I can't find Pin on any Smurf list of Brood War players. If you know a player who goes by Pin, let me know in the comments, and I will change the title to reflect the name of the actual player. Alright, so a PvT here on this map. You guys, I went through so many Brood War maps, looked at so many Brood War maps with jungle set, 4-player, because this is a 4-player map, and I cannot figure out what the name of this is. It's 2.0 something. If you're interested in helping me translate Korean, let me know in the comments, and I'll send you a screenshot of what it says in the Brood War Remastered client, and I'll correct it in the title as well. Alright, so a PvT. Haven't cast one of these in a while. I figured, I don't know, I just kind of got tired of the mech versus Dragoon and dropped Zealots and Storm and stuff style, and I figured maybe if these players are not super elite, they'll try different stuff. So we'll see. We will see if Alone here is going to go for something other than Dragoons, or maybe Pin's going to go for Bio. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, glad this loaded up in the remastered client. It's from 2012. Got this off of teamliquid.net. Those of you who are interested in when this was played, I hope that helps. I know the meta has shifted quite a bit from 1998 to today, and several times as well, in helping us see exactly how much the game has changed. And for some people, knowing this was played in 2012 is an interesting bit of trivia. It will help them to understand the game a little bit better here. So that is actually a very quick... Ah, it's a barracks, never mind. I always forget how big the footprint is for barracks in Remastered here. I thought that was going to be a quick command center expansion, but no. Definitely that's not what's going on here. Probe is scouting around trying to see where Pin is. Top right, absolutely not. Bottom right, no. Bottom left, you struck out. You went the wrong direction. You just randomly chose the wrong direction to go. I wonder if these players have a standard direction they like to scout, right? On a 4-player map, if you're going to work or scout, do you like going, clockwise? Do you like going counterclockwise? Do you switch it up sometimes? Do you have feelings and impressions every once in a while? That's a 2-gate opening here from Alone. That indicates we're going to see some level of pressure against the Terran player. And is he going to get... Yeah, it's just basically the barracks into the factory play here with the 1 gas. Only has the 1 worker on the gas here, so I don't think we're rushing towards tanks or anything like that. Going to get a good Marine count up. I'd be surprised if we didn't see a bunker at the front to deal with any early aggression coming in here. As are there any Zealots? No, definitely not. No Cyber Core either. At this point, that Maynard transfer went through the skinniest possible location, and there's your Cyber Core to transfer over here. But the timing is good. The Maynard is good. The workers gate up, and they should immediately just return their minerals. Yeah, look at that timing alone. Nicely done. APM for him over 320 right now, about 250 for Pin. So again, this is professional level. I really wish I knew who Pin was, but for now it's just Pin, the mystery player, Pin. And, sometimes these players do just happen to choose their names from the American English Dictionary, and that's actually Alone's backstory, is that he was not very good at English when he started his Brood War career. He just went to the dictionary and grabbed a random word, obviously towards the front, because it starts with an A, and chose the name Alone. And it's kind of unusual. The Liquidpedia page says it's unusual for a male to choose it as their name. And I don't know what about Alone is specifically feminine, but perhaps in Korean culture it is. And there's your bunker, there's your 4 Marines, and here's your Vulture scooching on out here. So Vulture first here, obviously not going for a tank. We're just very mineral heavy at this stage. And yeah, kind of walling off here a bit too. But this should be enough. The Vulture's going to be amazing against any Zealots that are coming on down, dealing that explosive damage to them, and then the bunker should be fine in holding off Dragoons as long as that Singularity Charge upgrade is not done here, as it is on the way, mind you. It is here, as the Vulture ends up getting... Oh, what is this being built at the front? A barracks is walling off, keeping the Dragoons away. Wow, what a play from Pin. I like that. Builds this in so the Dragoons can't get out to save these probes. This Vulture has 5 kills because the Dragoons couldn't get out because the SCV built a barracks blocking the way out for those Dragoons. Holy smokes. Amazingly well done by Pin. That was beautiful. What a beautiful, beautiful play. Command Center expansion on the way from Pin. Already been done for a while for Alone here, so he should have a bit of an advantage economically. Here comes a Zealot and a couple Dragoons. It's just some early pressure. The Vulture should be able to help hold here a tiny bit. Singularity charge is not quite done yet here, so the Dragoons can't get in range of the bunker without taking shots from the Marines in the inside. Plus a tank is here. Yeah, I think the Dragoons are just going to go ahead and set up a contain. I don't see that pushing here is a great idea. Is siege even on the way? No, Pin's not getting siege for his tank. He's going to go ahead and try to hold here with the Vulture, which he is bothering to repair. I don't really see that a lot. At least not in the Brood War, where SCVs are repairing their things, their mechanical units, which is all they can repair. Vulture moving out, feeling a little bit braver now that it has more than 3 hit points, or 5, or whatever it had at the end of that attack up north. Some spider mines going down at the front. Alone can't get too close now. There are spider mines ready to rock. Still no siege from the tank. And Singularity Charge is done. There we go. Look at these Dragoons for Alone setting up just outside the range of this bunker. Getting some shots off of the bunker, getting some shots off on the barracks. Anything that Pin needs to use to repair this, any resources he needs to spend to repair this is going out of what he can do in the mid-game. The tank actually outranges this a tiny bit here, even without siege. He's about the same range as the Dragoon and can force them back. A little bit back here. And Dragoon, I know you're on hold position, but get out. Get on out. And that is how a tank can push this back, even without having siege researched. Pin recognized he didn't need it. He didn't need siege. He can push these Dragoons back just fine. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, Vulture's hanging out in this section. Probably, are they possibly waiting for a drop? Kind of looks like they might be. There's really nowhere to go over here. Either they're waiting to get dropped by a dropship, or they're waiting for a drop to come. There is a dropship. Alright, so definitely going to be a Vulture drop of some kind coming along this way. There is a pylon along this left side for Alone, just to make sure he knows about any drops that are coming his way. And by golly, that's a good thing, because these Vultures are heading north here very, very soon. And a third Nexus warping in for Alone at about the 7-minute mark. So that's some pretty good timing here from him. Got a robotics facility, which we already had. What is it building? We don't see what it's building. The UI is glitching out on us. Well, it's a something. It's an observer, because the observatory is done. We caught that in the production tab a bit ago. So dropship with 4 Vultures on the inside is going to try to head on up without getting spotted by that pylon. Manages to skirt around it quite nicely here. Surprise is of the essence with these drops, especially early on in the game. Dragoons not picking or catching wind of it. Couple probes trying to transfer. Getting shot at by this Vulture, who might just be dead right now. Gonna try to get out, but nah, completely toast. Vulture's inside the main base, but Dragoons are here too. Spider mines trying to slow down the Dragoons, but no, there's an observer. There's Singularity Charge. These spider mines are going to do nothing to anybody, and all the Vultures get cleaned out. Exceptionally well defensed there by Alone. Had Dragoons at his third base, had Dragoons at his main, and connected to his natural too. So excellent work. That did very, very little. I think maybe one of the probes down here might have gone down from that first Vulture, but otherwise, Alone held that thing off. Observer sneaking on in for Alone into this natural base to see what's going on, and it's definitely going to be mech out of Pin. That double factory kind of seals it. The starport is not continuing to produce anything else, and we are working on +1 vehicle weapons and just getting tanks and Vultures and all those other things. Now, Stargate coming up for Alone. You don't usually see Stargate in PvT unless you're seeing a carrier a carrier transition, which is usually a later game thing, but it sure looks like this double Stargate opening with a fleet beacon in this top corner. Oh, hang on. Fleet beacon, how can I get rid of you? So Vulture's trying to do stuff. Yeah. Okay, top corner, fleet beacon. Production will get that back. We will get this back too. Vulture's trying to sneak in and do some stuff, but there's Dragoons everywhere, man. This is not working out for you, Pin. I understand what you're attempting to do. The harassment is working in some ways, but definitely not in other ways here. That is a missile turret being constructed by Pin. Should actually be able to get that observer. I'm not sure the Pin knows that it's there or not. What? Yep, missile turret shoving this observer away, coming back into range a little bit. Nah, smart enough just to skirt that range and see the construction of the 4th factory, thereby solidifying what is coming in from his Terran opponent's Pin. All right, so Alone has some really good intel right now. A drop with Vulture tank up here in the north. And once again, Dragoons should be able to handle this thing. Siege mode tanks problems with Dragoons, but everything else should be cleaned up. No problem. Got some spider mines up along the top right side of the map here. Dragoons are clearing those out without too much trouble, if any. at all. And Alone's sitting here on 3 bases. He's got an observer right in the middle of Pin's base. He has an observer outside the front door and an observer at the natural. I like the scouting. I like the intel he's getting from these observers. Protoss players, use them. Use the observer as much as you can. And there's a forge coming up too. Interestingly enough, a forge. That is plus max interceptors, that upgrade, which is called carrier capacity. Sure, makes sense. 4+ additional interceptors per carrier, which is really a necessary upgrade. If you're getting any number of carriers, that's the one. That's one that you want to get for sure. Dragoons pushing out. They don't have any upgrades yet, but that forge does bode well for them. And our first carriers are under construction here from these Stargates. 2-port Stargate into carrier for Alone. And let's see if Pin recognizes what's going on here. He does have a lot of tanks and a lot of vultures, both of which are useless against these carriers. I like what Alone is doing. He's keeping an eye on what's coming up from his Terran opponent and then doing what the Terran opponent is not prepared for. Getting air weapons, getting interceptors. Those are not free. Those do in fact cost money. I believe it's 25 minerals. That's been changed a lot in StarCraft 2. Kind of, for a while it was free, for a while it was 5 minerals, and sometimes it was 25 and sometimes 20, but I'm pretty sure it's 25 in Brood War and has been for a very, very long time. Vulture's coming up to the right side, just running past the gauntlet of these Dragoons and trying to see if there's anything they can kill. And by golly, there's a cannon on the way. Nope, cancel, cancel. Alone was trying to establish a base up here in the top right. That's not going to happen. Carriers kind of swinging down this left way. Are they lose all their interceptors? I don't know. They're killing this engineering bay, which is more of a scouting thing right now for Pin than anything else. But the carriers have been revealed. Pin is still continuing to produce vultures. Immediately starts the Charon booster upgrade, increasing the attack range for the Goliaths, and starts making 4 Goliaths instead of 2 vultures here. Now, the repair on the tank, keeping that stuff alive. 2 carriers actually not that impressive when it comes to DPS, but you actually need to worry about with the carriers as groups of 8 or more. But, you know, get some harassment done is not a bad thing. Pin established a little bit up here in the top right-hand corner of the map. But Zealot's on top of that tank. Vulture down. Witter! Spider-Mine does get a shot off on that Zealot and kill it. Meanwhile, Vulture's trying to do stuff at the third base. Dragoons holding the line here quite nicely. Not worried about it. Carriers trying to defend the homeland as well. Where's your detection for these Spider-Mines? Vultures again trying to swing past the Dragoon gauntlet. Nope! None of them are going to make it. That guy might have, but he stopped moving for some reason. And now the probe with an escort of Dragoons is heading up to the top right-hand corner of the base. It's going to expand there. So it's 3 base to 3 base. Pins has had his third base for a while. It is 165 to 132 supply. Again, Goliath production is what you do as a Terran when you see those carriers. Goliaths are your answer. They have incredible range. They do tons and tons of damage to carriers, especially if you target the carrier bodies, which you should do. I'm trying to pick off some of these Goliaths one by one, while the Goliaths can't really get good targets on the carriers themselves. So that was a pretty good maneuver there. Just small harassment, not doing a whole lot, not committing a ton to those attacks, and just trying to make sure that he gets his 4th base up in the top right-hand corner safely. Zealot running around, trying to get more intel, trying to see exactly where the Terran player exists. And right now it's 3 bases. The bottom left corner is definitely his. Templar Archives warping in for Alone. Carriers trying to sneak in here again. And this is just not enough Goliaths, I don't think. Carriers taking some damage here, but not a lot. Mostly shield damage, which is just fine. I love the animation. The blue smoke coming out of those Charon booster missiles when they have the upgrade is right up there with Valkyrie blue smoke. Just one of the better animations in all of StarCraft Brood War. Attack in the middle coming on in. We've got Dragoons. We've got Zealots. We have +1 shields. Shields being shared. That upgrade is shared among all units that the Protoss has, including buildings. So not just units. A big attack from Pin, though. Sieging up at the third base of Alone. He's in trouble, man. This is a whole ton of tanks. This is a whole ton of Goliaths here. Trying to set up maybe a bit of a pincer attack from the backside. Are these Dragoons? But this tank count is high. And they have +2 attack, and they have +1 armor. Dragoon's going to attack where the tanks are not, which is very smart. If you attack into the tanks, you're probably going to be killed. That said, Goliaths with upgrades. Again, they share the upgrades with the tanks. +2/+2 is done for them. Or +2/+1, rather, is done for them. +2 armor is on the way. Carriers going 1 tank down, 2 tanks down. They're going to get all 4 of these tanks that are in range of this third base and save it for the time being. It has taken some shield damage. Here's your engagement, though. with the Goliaths getting direct shots off on the carrier bodies. We can see them. They're doing okay, actually. The carriers are doing fine. I don't see any yellow or red on them whatsoever, despite the fact that it looks like the Goliaths are hitting them. I just don't know if they can get in range here. Alone's doing a great job. Well, maybe not in that case, but just staying as far away from the Goliaths as he can while still launching those interceptors. Trying to get some Zealots and Dragoons to win a small engagement versus just tanks in the middle of the map here. And you know what? The tanks are kiting. That doesn't mean they're losing the battle necessarily. They're just pulling back to see where their friends, the Goliaths, are. Did I hear a Dark Templar whoa-whom? I think I heard a Dark Templar whoa-whum. Meanwhile, Alone continuing to attack here from the northeast. Missile turrets are not going to stand. They're basically a delay tactic here as the carrier group gets up to 9. That is a good number of carriers. There's another one on the way here too. Again, we're trying to hold control of the middle of the map here. Goliath's holding the left side. There we go. Some decent shots off on that carrier, but every time anything gets attacked, it just pulls out of range of the Goliaths and then comes in again as the Goliaths retreat away. They don't want to engage with the interceptors. They want to kill the carriers themselves. Tanks pushing up towards this 4th base of Alone, though. There's only a handful of Dragoons here, and these tanks in siege just crush them. Absolutely obliterate those Dragoons. Somehow a cannon gets a couple shots off on this tank, but that's going to be about it. There are DTs in this battle. All right, fair enough. I did see the Templar Archives coming in. So DT's in the middle of this while interceptors are overhead trying to clean these dudes out. DTs are hacking away. You can't really tell what's going on because there are so many interceptors, but DTs are definitely a fair part, an important part of this battle. And tank is out, and we managed to save the 4th base. Again, taking some shield damage, but that's about it. Pin coming back into siege the 3rd base of Alone. As long as the carriers are somewhere else, let's go ahead and make this thing happen. I love the Zealot setup in all separate corners, but Pin managed to sneak a base on Alone anyway in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. Still no mining for Alone at this 3rd base. It's just been under siege too much recently. Are the carriers going to bother trying to save it? I don't know. They're kind of heading up to the right side again. Are these cannons? These are cannons, but the Vultures get in before the cannons are done. DT's trying to hang with them. And there we go. They both end up going down. Cannon gets a shot off there. Did you get the kill? I don't know if he keeps track of cannon kills. These tanks are still in range of this 3rd base. They have to, too. They are formidable. Formidable indeed. I love they have little warning things across the front. The yellow and the black stripe. It's like, this is where fire comes out. So, watch out for that. 163 to 165 supply. This is an exceptionally close game. I'm liking this one a lot. Carrier group swinging on in. There's missile turrets and a couple Goliaths. Where are the rest of the Goliaths? There are 3 of them. There we go. Bottom right-hand corner says, here I am. Here are all of the Goliaths in this entire game. Carriers don't care, man. These carriers do not care. They're engaging. They're making sure to stay at that minimum range that they can get without having to take too much direct damage from the Goliaths here. A couple of them are hurt. One's in the red, one's in yellow. Another one has some yellow highlights, which it does indicate some hull damage. But despite that, still alive. I don't know that we've lost a carrier yet, and that's really big. That is really big for Alone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them here. Unless he has lost some. I feel like we had a few more previously. We might have lost some in a battle. It's hard to tell with all of those interceptors flying around. That looks like more than... Can you only... Okay, yeah, this is definitely more than 6. 1, 2, they stack up so well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... Yeah, there we go. Like 12 of them or so. I really wish I could select these. Double clicking would be nice, but no. Nope. Alone's up, or down rather, 166 to 180 supply here. Got an observer with this army, probably more than one, but nah, maybe just the one here. And warping another nexus in the top right-hand corner. Spider mines all over this map, and this carrier group is just kind of flying around, trying to make sure they don't do too much damage, trying to make sure that they can't catch his ground army off guard, and just get some free hits that way. Spider mines aren't free just because they are limited in number. But still, I mean, Pin's throwing up here hoping to get something done, and if he can't do it, that hurts him. Alone doesn't quite want to engage in this giant mech army with 3 attack and 2 armor. The Dragoons have that 1 shield upgrade, and that's it. Attacking from the right side, using this high ground as a bit of a distraction here. There is so much going on with these Goliaths. Vulture's trying to... I don't know what these Vultures are doing. They're out kicking their coverage, though. They're down here just getting destroyed. I'm not sure if Pin is trying to free up some supply or something by letting those guys die, but that didn't seem like a good move at all. Meanwhile, Dragoons are down here at Pin's 4th base, causing some major problems for everybody involved. DT got 4 kills, killing SCVs, slowly whittling down this economy of Pin. This is enough Goliaths to clear this thing out for sure, but every SCV might end up... Oh, if it comes back in, it's going to die. Is it not? Wow, SCV survives, man. These Dragoons did not want to kill it. They can kill this SCV building a 5th base for Pin down in the bottom right-hand corner. And probes are transferring up to this top right-hand fortification of a lone carrier group. Swinging around, swinging its way down to the south here. Goliath's kind of stacked up in a line, which is not what they want to be. They want to be able to flank from one whole direction at once instead of just coming in 1 or 2 at a time. This is a really bad angle. This is a little bit better. This is a little bit better. Trying to take down the Goliaths or the carriers from this angle. DT's on the ground, man, doing some work. Is there a scan available? I don't know why these DTs are fleeing. I think I can get some free shots off here. And yeah, using the DTs in the army is kind of brilliant. The carriers can pick off any science vessels that show up, but there's the scan. Can't do anything about the scans if you're Pin, and all the DTs do end up getting cleaned out. This is just chaos right here, man. The carriers are killing so many Goliaths. I cannot wait to see the end stats here and see how many units have gone down for the Terran army, because I feel like Goliaths are getting picked off 1 every 3 or 4 seconds or so for the last 10 minutes of this game. Meanwhile, the carriers, I just don't know if they're dying because they stack up so well. It's hard to tell. A lot of interceptors have definitely died, though. Those things have been targeted and killed by these Goliaths with +3 attack, doing 32 damage per shot, which is killer. More DTs sneaking on in, though. Dragoons trying to get some help in as well, but tanks in siege mode, making sure these Dragoons don't get too close. Okay, they're going to try to get close, I suppose, here, and then back out. Once they recognize there is siege tank fire coming upon them, then they back right on out there. Goliaths doing their very ever-loving best to kill these carriers and not attack the interceptors, but sometimes that's all you can do. Sometimes that's all you've got. He is target firing individual units here, you can tell, because the interceptors are all swarming out and then coming back in. Alone is making 8 interceptors at a time right now. That must mean he has 8 carriers at least, and they're all losing interceptors to the point where they need to be replaced from time to time here. Another Goliath ends up falling along with his comrades, fully upgraded, and Pin is making 9 Goliaths at a time. So 9 interceptors and 9 Goliaths being made at once right now. 126 to 129 supply. Both players have been taking their hits. Here at the 23-minute mark, Alone heading on down south. He knows there's a base down here. Pin needs to put his SCVs to work, man. He's at almost 300 APM, but you gotta... It is hard to keep track of everything that you have to do, and sometimes these workers do end up getting stacked up. Unless your name is Flash, or unless your name is J-Dong, and you don't really see that sort of thing happening. Bisu, too. Oh, this is the worst time for an SCV transfer. You know what? They're all going to live, though, because the carriers are more interested in the command center than their SCVs. Another one going to go down? Yeah, absolutely. Another one going to go down. Goliath's heading up for the counterattack in the north. Going to try to get rid of the base in the top right-hand corner. Tanks causing some problems here, too. For Alone, it's a bit of a brace race type scenario. Both players getting unrestricted free access to their opponent's expansions, which is a bit of a tense situation if you've ever been in a thing like this. A couple carriers all left behind to try to kill these little SCVs, which are not running, mind you. They've just been hanging out this whole time. Goliath's heading away, and yeah, this top right base does up going down. All of the probes die too. So it's 130 to 102 supply. Pin has a nice lead on his opponent, has killed his 4th and 5th bases, and the 3rd base is gone here too. Alone is down to 2 bases. There's an attempted drop of Goliath, but there's DTs defending, and there's cannons defending here too. Oh, DTs taking shots from spider mines. Not what you want if you're a Dark Templar. Really don't want that to happen here. Goliath's out on the map, and the carriers are sneaking in the back way. Look at these guys go. They're not bound by water or cliffs or anything. They can do whatever the crap they want. These carriers can, because they can fly. 15 kills, 21 kills, 8 kills, 0 kills. What a lazy carrier that one is. 13 kills here. Gonna focus down another command center. This natural base of Pin does go down very quickly. Very quickly to these carriers. Goliath trying to come down and deal with this thing while there are still Widow Mines up north. Widow Mines stopping that third base creation. And we're just playing a game up north here of unloading Goliaths and trying to kill these DTs while the scan is in play. And the scan's in play. So the Goliaths are causing some major problems. In this third base, this is an island base? It is an island base down here. Huh. Well, good for Alone, managing to take this one. DT gets picked off. Some really nice little dropship Goliath micro. Free observer, as that must have gotten scanned by Pin. Either way, Goliaths are going to try to kill this one remaining mining base of Alone. Carriers, once again, not really being molested by anything at this point. Gonna go after the third base of Pin. I really don't see anything stopping this from happening either. The Goliaths are like, wait, what? Where did they get? His intel has not been fantastic here. Command center goes down, bunker goes down, Marines impotently getting killed here as well. Missile turrets trying to kill stuff. Carriers flying directly into the production facilities of Pin. Gonna lose his final command center. That's it. According to what I can see on the mini-map, it's gone. Tech structures getting sniped by Alone. Goodbye, Starport. Is he even bothering with the factories? I don't know that he necessarily is. He's like, this refinery in particular is one that I definitely want to kill. This Dark Templar amongst all these SCVs, oh, it's so terrible. And there's no scans available because you have to be attached to the ComSat station with the command center to make it work. Oh, man. So this command center actually finished, but for not, because here come the carriers. And they're dead. So it's 98 to 90 supply. Pin still has a lead, but his income is literally 0, while Alone still has some mining going on up in this base. More DTs came in to clean out those Goliaths. Did manage to save it, although it took a lot of hull damage. It only has 181 hit points. In addition to the shields, it is slowly regenerating. Good golly. Look at this battle. Look at this battle. We had to zoom out so far to see everything that's going on here. And it's just a mass of red against a mass of smoky blue, which is very fun visually, but really hard to keep track of what's going on. Although we can tell that Pin is slowly losing numbers because he's sitting at 67 supply now. He did have a lead, and he is down now about 25 supply to his opponent. And that's going to be it. Pin with a good game. Taps out, knows he can't kill these carriers. Decides he's done, can't expand, has no remaining income, and decides it is time to fight another day. Well done. Well done by Alone, going for the carriers right off the bat. I am such a big fan of that, going for carriers as opposed to trying to go for Dragoons and make those things work when your opponent has 16 tanks, as Pin did in the early stages of the game. Few Dragoons were made, right? A few Dragoons were made, but not enough. Not enough to really deal with the tank count. It was just carrier. It was 2-gate Starport. Caught Pin by surprise, as we saw him immediately go for the Charon booster upgrade. As soon as those first carriers showed up, it started quadruple pumping the Goliaths. So just way to abuse the immobility of the Goliaths, right? A lot of places on this map to fly over open water, to fly up and down cliffs, to just keep the Goliaths away from you as you're trying to kill them. And yeah, Dark Templar in the mix here too, with no detection for Pin. So makes sense he tapped out. Let's check out these final stats. And yeah, units killed here by Alone is 332, whereas Pin killed 403. I think a lot of those are interceptors, which do count as kills. I'm not trying to denigrate them. But I just feel like interceptors, which are fairly cheap units, as compared to the 332 units killed. A lot of those are SCVs, but again, that's a ton of those that are Goliaths too. Structures raised, actually pretty even, 29 to 25 here. Alone killed more. Both players lost around the same too. And resources, wow, look at Pin's gas mined. Look at that, 15,000 compared to 11,000. Minerals about the same, and spenders about the same here. So Pin mined a ton of gas and didn't spend a lot of it, as it turns out. But Alone, only 10,000 gas mined. That was enough for his Dragoons and his Dark Templar and his carriers. And he won. Great game. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Again, not from players you necessarily heard a lot about, but still, StarCraft Brood War played at any level Can be pretty darn entertaining. All right, that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.